Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of Gamezillong Countdown. I am your host Hank today, and today's countdown is Kaiju movies that are not Godzilla. So let's get to them.
Number 10.
The Angry Video Game Nerd movie. The nerd and a few friends go out on an adventure searching for the junkyard that has the Atari ET cartridges. And during their wacky adventure, they do encounter a giant kaiju named Death Moss X.
Number 9.
Ice Road Terror. This movie's about a bunch of truckers trying to drive through the Elastic with dynamite and get to a certain destination, but they encounter a giant lizard that causes them trouble.
Number 8.
Latitude Zero is a movie about explorers searching the seas for items, trinkets, gold, but they end up finding a paradise, a magical wonderland known as Latitude Zero. This may be a perfect place, but there may be some not so perfect people on the island. That meaning some evil people on the island, like evil scientists making evil creatures.
Number 7.
A Monster Calls is a movie that contains a son and mother and a grandmother and a monster who is helping the young boy by telling him stories that may help him get through the situation he's going through and coping with a sad moment in anybody's life when you lose someone you love.
Number 6.
The Host is a movie about a family just out hanging out, and then a giant fish creature ends up coming out of the water and pretty much kidnapping this guy's daughter, and he's chasing down this fish creature as best as he can. His father, his sister, his brother-in-law are all on the mission to try to find his daughter, and they try their best. You just gotta see the movie and find out what happens.
Number 5.
Mentango, a movie about a bunch of people on a boat that end up going to an island. And stuff just kind of gets a little weird, and people go a little bit crazy. And they end up having to eat the weird mushrooms on the island.
Number 4.
Gargo is a movie about a bunch of people on a fishing island where they go fishing and other stuff, and then a young monster shows up and ends up being kidnapped by all these people who think they can get rich and put it in a circus. But then a mother shows up and causes destruction. He finally gets the baby back, and they head on home.
Number 3.
Ghostbusters is a movie about a group of friends that end up surprisingly getting the job of catching ghosts. So they end up using plasma rays to shoot ghosts and trap them in a ghost trap. And they end up encountering a god of some sort known as Gozer. And Gozer gives them the thought of, the ideas of what will be their destruction. So one of them thinks of the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, and that is their destroyer. So they have to fight Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Number 2.
Colossal is a movie about a girl that ends up moving back to her hometown and meeting up with so-called friends, and they go out, have some fun, have a couple drinks, ends up meeting new friends, finding a little bit of love. Then they end up having more cocktails, and surprisingly, she can control a monster on a completely different continent. And all of a sudden, her buddy steps inside a playground with her, and he's got a giant robot.
Number 1.
Big Man Japan has a guy who has his family lineage. They all can turn into giants that could fight the monsters that come to try to destroy Japan. Now there's only one. And he's just a normal, regular guy. But with the power of electricity, he turns into the giant. And he fights against the strangest, weirdest looking monsters you'll ever see. Then he fights off against this red demon monster and kind of gets his tail kicked. But that's alright. You guys just need to see this crazy movie to find out what I mean.
Alright folks, I really enjoyed each and every one of these movies. So, what would your countdown be? And they can't be Godzilla, Gamera, or Ultraman. So, what would you say? Till next time, I've been Tank, signing off. Peace!